Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. There's been a lot of concern that there isn't enough push or marketing for this game from some members of the community, but there's been a lot that's happened since then. So we're going to go over the huge updates when it comes to Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, in addition to a bunch of other awesome Nintendo Switch 2 news and more. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it. Recently, I had a poll on the channel talking about Metroid Prime 4 and other games that you are most anticipating for the Nintendo Switch 2 this year. And by a landslide, Metroid Prime 4 has won with over 4,000 plus votes, 60% of the people that voted, so 2,000 plus and counting, are stating that yes, we want Metroid Prime 4 Beyond the most. I was actually surprised. I thought it might be a little bit more even with some of the other games out there on this list, Kirby Air Riders, Hyrule Warriors, but to be honest, it makes sense. Metroid Prime 4 has been a game that was first announced back in 2017. Reggie Fils-Aimé was still in the house back then. On the Nintendo Switch 1, it got scrapped. It's been moved over to the Nintendo Switch 2 with the dual launch along with Nintendo Switch 1. We've seen it a number of times, but they talked about it last year, so we had to wait all the way till this year. So it's so much stuff going around with this game. But once again, it does make sense that people are highly anticipating this. It looks incredible. It's a Switch 1 game, but on the Nintendo Switch 2, you're getting 4K 60 FPS. You're getting 120 FPS at 1080p when you're playing it on dock TV mode, but you still can get 120 FPS in portable mode. All you got to do is put it in the performance mode compared to the quality mode. That's going to still get you 1080p 60 FPS. It looks incredible. Looks like it's a true jump over what we got with Metroid Prime 3 on the Nintendo Wii back in 2007, 18 years ago. I still remember the day that I went out there and picked it up. I was in college and I was excited, and I got it at Circuit City, and that place went bankrupt because their service was terrible overall, plus a bunch of other things. I'm very excited to finally get my hands on Metroid Prime 4 coming up pretty soon here. But speaking of getting your hands on Metroid Prime 4, Nintendo has started to advertise just exactly how it's going to look when you do actually get your hands on the game, because we got a brand new trailer that released somewhat recently for Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. It's called Survive, and it shows off multiple different environments, shows off some cool powers that Samus has. Nothing story-wise, so they're definitely not digging into that, but we got more on that in just a bit, because I think a lot more is going to come out. But like I was trying to tell people on Twitter that were freaking out about the advertising for Metroid Prime, listen, this game's not going to be some type of massive 10 million, 20 million type of seller. It's not Zelda, it's not Mario, it's not like that. Now, can it do really good? Absolutely, it can do really good. Will it do really good? Yes, for the franchise, for Metroid overall. But I do think that you want to make sure that you advertise it closer to the launch. This is one of those word of mouth games. Hey, I have to see it in my hands type of games. Let's get the reviews out type of titles. Now, I still think that they have some ways to go. You're looking at this trailer. It looks good. They definitely could have done a few things here and there, but the ramp up is here. We had a number of games that came out before with Pokemon, Hyrule Warriors, Age of Imprisonment. Now that those are out of the way, you can kind of shift focus more towards the other games coming out, Kirby Air Riders, and then of course Metroid Prime 4. So it was all part of the plan, and I know that it's all part of the plan because also Metroid Prime 4 Beyond was released in a new commercial as well. It's called Power Up Your Holidays, and it features multiple different games like Donkey Kong Bonanza, Madden 26, and of course Metroid Prime 4, showcasing the incredible graphics, cool shooting, in addition to the mouse mode that's going to be a feature on there as well. So they're showing off like, hey, this is a really good looking game, it runs good, it plays good, and you can kind of play in this type of way. So it gives you multiple different options on how you want to tackle the game. And on top of that, Andy Robinson and other journalists are stating that Nintendo has started to invite them for a preview event. They were able to play the game, and they're going to have a lot more coverage on Friday, November 14th. So that's also something. So they are ramping it up. They've got the preview events. We're going to hear more about the story probably at this preview event, more about some of the powers and what the journalists think overall, and of course raw gameplay footage of the title going. So this is a nice ramp up. This is exactly what they were planning for it. Let's get some of these other games out the way that are big, like Pokemon and Super Mario Galaxy, some of these other October games. Let's get some of this other stuff going. Hyrule Warriors, Age of Imprisonment releasing, and then now you can truly get that big ramp up and push that you need heading in to the December 4th launch. So I think it's going to be pretty good overall. But before we get into the next topic, please make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, and click that notification bell to get my videos as soon as they drop. And let me know what you're excited about the most when it comes to Metroid Prime 4. Okay, let's jump into another game that's launching on the same day as Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, and that is Sonic Racing Crossworlds, the Nintendo Switch 2 edition. It is going to be a $10 upgrade from the Switch version. So if you already have the Switch version, you pay $10, you'll be able to get the Nintendo Switch 2 version of the game. So Sonic Racing Crossworlds Nintendo Switch 2 edition will launch digitally for the Nintendo Switch 2 on December 4th for $69.99. Sega has announced a physical release featuring the full base game on the cartridge, so no game keycard, will follow in early 2026. Now, users who already own the Switch version will be able to upgrade via an upgrade pack for $10, which will be available for 50% off discount price until December 10th. Users who buy Nintendo Switch 2 edition will also receive the downloadable content Werehog pack as a bonus until December 17th. Now, the game already came out on the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC via Steam, Epic Game Store on September 25th, and it has sold over 1 million units, which is not necessarily the best considering it's on so many platforms already, with the combined install base of like 200 million or something like that if you count up all the different users between PS4, PS5, Xbox Series. I mean, we're well past 200 million, I think, at that point with Switch 1 put in there. But at the same time, you're looking at it overall that maybe some people were waiting for the Nintendo Switch 2 edition. You've got people that were pretty much just playing Mario Kart. That was the premier kart racing type of game. And then you probably have some people that are waiting for Kirby Air Riders as well. And I do think that there are a lot of people that don't want to spend $70 on a Sonic game, so I think that they're waiting for the discounts, the Steam sales, the Epic Game Store sales, the Black Friday sales, and all of that. So I do think that over time, Sonic Racing Crossworlds can do pretty good, but I think it was foolish for a lot of fans to think that it was going to be able to sell as much or be as popular as Mario Kart World. That was not going to happen overall. Even if you exclude the bundled sales with Mario Kart World, it still sold individually better on the Nintendo Switch 2 by itself, a system with 10 million units, better than what the combined sales were for the other versions all combined. So that's the thing about it, guys. It's just one of those things to where it was never going to be as popular, but it's still a really good game. People are still really enjoying it. Some people like it a lot more overall. And at the end of the day, it's kind of like I can get 2 cakes for the most part, like that meme. It's kind of like that, or you can simply just play what you want. You know, it doesn't have to be pitted against everything. And obviously, I know Sega leaned into that with their marketing, but at the end of the day, I think it's all good and fun overall. It's just video games. So what do you guys think when it comes down to the Nintendo Switch 2 edition? Based off of this trailer here, it looks like it's running at 60 FPS, which the Nintendo Switch 1 version was running at 30 FPS. The resolution is a lot better, and I think it's going to load faster and just overall be a much better experience on the Nintendo Switch 2 compared to the Nintendo Switch 1, because that Switch 1 version is incredibly crusty, and I don't know why it's that crusty considering we have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe that runs like a dream on the Nintendo Switch 1, and it's not like the graphics in this game are considerably better. I know that there's probably like rendering and other stuff going on in the background that's a bit more intensive maybe than Mario Kart 8, but at the same time, like, I think that 30 FPS for this type of game was a bit rough. So I felt that maybe a lot of the people that might be their main market for this game on Nintendo platforms are waiting for that 60 FPS Switch 2 version, or hoping for a little bit better on the Nintendo Switch 1, considering that, once again, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe runs at 60 FPS flawlessly on there. So what do you guys think about the update here with Sonic Racing Crossworlds? You plan on getting the digital version on December 4th, or waiting for next year for the physical version of the game? I'm probably going to play the digital version. I might get a review code or do something there with Sega on that, but I definitely think that I'll get the physical edition at some point, probably discounted down the line next year. So what do you guys think about it? Let me know in the comment section below. But now we're going to move on to the Pokemon Legends ZA DLC Mega Dimensions. We got a brand new trailer and we got a release date as well. So Pokemon Legends ZA downloadable content Mega Dimensions will launch on December 10th for $30, or 3,000 yen. Publisher The Pokemon Company and developer Game Freak announced that now venturing into the hyperspace of Lumiose. So in Pokemon Legends ZA Mega Dimension, trainers will revisit Lumiose as a spatial distortions begin to form around the city. Donut Chief Ansha and her companion, the mythical Pokemon Hoopa, will guide players as they explore the mysterious dimension known as Hyperspace Lumiose. Not Quite Lumiose City is home to newly discovered Mega Evolution Pokemon and other Pokemon not usually found in Lumiose, some of which can exceed the normal limit of level 100 with hyperspace levels. Wow, that's interesting. So Hoopa's powers are awakened when it receives one of Ansha's donuts, transforming the distortions into portals to hyperspace. Ansha uses berries to create various kinds of donuts that grant different effects in hyperspace, such as powering up your Pokemon. She can also use more potent hyperspace berries, which are useful for taking on high-level Pokemon in hyperspace Lumiose. Trainers will be joined by new allies such as Karina, a successor to the line of Mega Evolution gurus determined to encounter every Mega Evolved Pokemon. Together with Team MZ, players will explore hyperspace Lumiose, uncover secrets, and tackle the strange events befalling Lumiose City. You have the newly discovered Mega Evolution Pokemon as well. There's also extra details on the Mega Evolved Pokemon that they talked about that you can see in there. But there's also an extra side mission that's now available to get mythical Pokemon Diancie in Pokemon Legends ZA. So this is pretty cool too. So already available now at this point, players can claim a Diancie Stone through the mystery gift feature in Pokemon Legends ZA base game. This Diancie Stone unlocks an opportunity to encounter and catch the jewel Pokemon Diancie through an extra side mission titled Shine Bright Like a Gemstone. Once trainers have claimed their Diancie via mystery gift, they can visit the Looker Bureau, where Mimi and Esper Emma's partner Pokemon will take a special interest in the Mega Stone, setting an extra side mission in motion. Completing this mission allows players to add Diancie to their team, then use the Diancie Stone to Mega Evolve it into Mega Diancie, unveiling the Radiant Mega Evolution in battle. There's also a new season that's going down. You can get the Delphinite Stone for Mega Evolution. Also, if you missed the Greninja Mega Evolution, you can also get that, and it's much lower rank this time. Also, you can't D rank, so they made it a lot easier when it comes to the online, and they're still balancing things, but some people are saying some of the Pokemon in the Battle Royale is broken when you play online. But either way, yeah, it's pretty cool. Got some free content here that they're adding in. Some people feel that the DLC costs too much for what you're getting overall. I think that the Pokemon Company did state that there will be another trailer that will be revealed before launch, so maybe there'll be something else added in there. Looks like there's going to be a little bit of a rogue mode in there as well, so there's going to be some replay value with it. So I think ultimately once the DLC comes out and people kind of give their opinions and thoughts on it, because it is half the price of the base game on the Nintendo Switch 1, I think that we can get a better idea of exactly how it's going to look, what you actually get, how much content is in there, how much hours it does. So there's a lot of factors, but I can understand how some people are feeling that way when it comes to the price of it, potentially even it being cut content from the regular base game. I mean, there's so many different ways that you can look at it. Obviously, this is not the first time that we've had DLC when it comes to it, and people have those accusations. Heck, you can even look at Digimon, which was universally praised by everyone when it comes down to that. And that also has Season Pass and DLC and all that before the release of the actual game and everything. So it's one of those things to where you just have to kind of get the content, see what it offers, and then from there, we'll be able to make the determination how you feel. But you don't have to buy it, or you can pick it up. I'm still going through the campaign. I'm near the end of Pokemon Legends ZA, and I really need to beat that because I've been playing Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, so I need to get Pokemon Legends ZA done so I can be ready for this DLC down the line. But what do you guys think about it so far when it comes to the DLC trailer that they showed off here? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, and for the last topic, we're going to briefly go over some Famitsu sales numbers because the Nintendo Switch 2 had another big week in Japan as Nintendo tries to desperately get more units over there. So this is the Famitsu sales for October 27, 2025 through November 2nd, 2025. We got an opening for Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D Remake. Big opening for that game, 413,000 units plus between the Nintendo Switch 2, Nintendo Switch 1, and the PlayStation 5. I think that the really interesting thing here with this, though, is that a lot of people were saying that game key cards won't sell in Japan, they won't sell anywhere, but actually the Nintendo Switch 2 version of Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D Remake put up 84,456 units sold retail, because these sales numbers don't include digital sales. So that was actually pretty close to the 96,812 units the PS5 version did. And you have to remember, the PS5 has a bigger install base over the Nintendo Switch 2 that just launched, but the Switch 2 was able to put up 84,000 plus units physical on the system. But out of the platforms, though, Nintendo Switch 1 was still the dominant one with 232,250 units sold just on that platform. But it's the best selling system of all time in Japan, and it makes complete sense that it did that good. Now that's down from Dragon Quest 3, but that's understandable because Dragon Quest 3 is the main game of the classic Dragon Quest games from back in the day, at least. So it makes sense that that's that, and we just got that last year. So overall, pretty good week when it comes to what Square Enix did on there. Let's talk about hardware. The Nintendo Switch 2 for the second week in a row has increased. It was able to go from 70-something thousand last week all the way up to 83,825 units sold for the past week. That is a very good week heading into the holidays, and Nintendo just needs to see if they can continue to get supply over to Japan, because they're still running the lottery system. They still don't have it regularly available like it is here in the West in a lot of places. Now, the Nintendo Switch 1, while it's on its way out, according to Nintendo, they're still doing some pretty good stuff, because it sold 26,708 units. That was actually multiple times more than the PlayStation 5, which only sold 7,537 units in Japan. But overall, not a bad week at all. So we'll see how things go as we get closer and closer to the holiday rush. So what do you guys think about all the different topics here? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch 2 RPG content and more right here on screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.